Hello, I'm Joel Hargis with the Florida Aviation Network, and we are here at Sun and Fun, and it's the 52nd year for Sun and Fun here in Lakeland, Florida. If you're not over here looking at airplanes, you need to come because the weather is amazing. There's a beautiful breeze. It's just a wonderful place to be, I'll tell you what. And as you know, the thing we focus on largely in our broadcasts is safety. And this next guest brings a very, very important message that all of us pilots and anybody in the industry needs to be paying attention to. So let me introduce you to Keith Clark. Welcome, Keith.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. So Keith is with Phillips 66, and your title is Quality Control, you say it.
Yeah, I'm the Senior Quality Control Director for Safety on aviation fuel. We make aviation fuel, and we want to make sure that it's done right.
Yeah, and I have no doubt Phillips is doing their job on making fuel, but sometimes there's a breakdown in what fuel gets in what plane.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen, you know, the tragic results of a breakdown in communication and verification of that fuel order. You know, we make the fuel, it's on spec, but if you get it in the wrong airplane because people say top it off, fill it up, that's not a fuel order. And we have to make sure we communicate and we verify because it's a preventable mistake, but we have to learn and do a better job.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not so uncommon. So when Keith and I sat down in the green room, I said, well, this one hits me near and dear to my heart for a couple of reasons. One is I lost a friend due to this very situation, and he knew right away who it was. And the second thing happened at an airport that my brother works at in Indiana. So, so this is near and dear to my heart. I've loved some of the things you've done, but I'm not going to steal any of your thunder. But you're doing more and more. I mean, I guess the thing that I loved is your Bob Hoover t-shirt.
Yeah. So if you look back in history, you know, back on May 25th, 1978, it happened to the greatest pilot ever, Bob Hoover. It was a breakdown in communication that day in California, and jet fuel was put in his Aero Commander. And if he wouldn't have been the greatest pilot, we probably would have lost Bob that day. But, you know, he flew as deep into the crash as possible, and he survived. And what we did in the industry back then was we said, hey, we got to fix it. Back then, all the openings were the same size. But now, they said, we're going to put restrictor plates in, and we're going to make a duckbill nozzle that's bigger for jet and a smaller nozzle for avgas. And they thought they fixed the problem. And they did help, but he never did totally solve it, because we have it happening continuously. I tell people all the time, a near miss happens every day because I have a pilot coming in that says, top it off, fill it up, and somebody else saying okay. And they never communicated the fuel type. And that's where we have to change what we're doing.
Well, and so, and it's funny in talking to you, I mean, it doesn't happen frequently, but it happens way more frequently than what it needs to happen. We don't need this mistake to happen, and it's, you can't put the onus on the FBO. The pilot is also responsible. Ultimately, you should double check.
Yeah, we got to communicate. And what we've seen, you know, some people say, well, how often does it happen? And I said a near miss happens every day. Because a near miss is that conversation where a pilot says, top it off, and somebody says, okay. Once we put fuel into that aircraft, that's not a near miss anymore. That's a misfueling. So every day a near miss happens. I can guarantee you right now, somewhere in the United States or somewhere in the world, somebody's saying, top it off, fill it up. And that's what we're trying to stop. We want them to say 100 low lead, Jet A with fizzy, because that's good communication. This has to be done every time. Don't assume that person knows what kind of fuel goes in that aircraft, because airplanes look alike. And we got to work together.
Yeah, and you know, the most dangerous part of flight is takeoff. And if you don't have the right fuel, you got maybe, and I do mean maybe, 30 seconds.
Yeah. What we've seen is, you know, Bob Hoover got to about 300 feet. We have a story we call the story of 23. where from the time they took off, the pilot said halfway down the runway, there's something not right. They got up in the air, they radioed back immediately to the airport and said, we got engine issues, we need to return. The tower said, you're cleared for runway 4. A few seconds go by, and the pilot said, we're not going to make it. And then the tower said, what do you mean? That was 23 seconds. Now, the pilot did an incredible job, and he never stopped flying it. Just like Bob said, you have to fly it as deep into the crash as possible. And he did. He found a vacant lot behind a school, and he crash-landed that airplane behind a school. And thank goodness the kids were in that school. But it was so close to being a tragedy. And they all survived. The landing gear broke. The wing was broken off. It caught on fire, but everybody escaped. But it was so close to a tragedy.
Yeah, so it's so preventable. I mean, it really is. So what I want you to explain, because you've been working on this since the Hoover days. I mean,
well, yeah, I didn't start in the Hoover days. But going back to 2014 and 15, there was some multiple misfuelings. And you know, back in when Hoover got misfueled, we created the duckbill nozzle, the industry did. In 2014 and 15, there was 3 more that happened within about 7 months. A 421 in New Mexico, a Piper Malibu in Washington, and the Taste of Texas Steakhouse in Texas. All 3 of those. Now, the first 2, there was fatalities. The Taste of Texas owners got very lucky, but they crash-landed on a divided highway. But what we saw was, what can we do different? So we created PreventMisfueling.com, a free website by NATA Safety First, free training to FBOs and pilots. And we thought, oh, we fixed the problem in 2016. We worked with the Energy Institute and created a video, an animated video talking about misfueling. This is going to fix it. And then 2019, the fall of 2019, and Dan Greenwald passed away that day in a tragic breakdown in communication and verification.
Yeah, and that, like I say, Dan, I had taken some lessons from Dan. I'd flown in his extra. Incredible pilot, you know. And so it can happen to the best of pilots.
Yeah, we're all humans. We're all humans, and we get so sidetracked sometimes. But when you're putting in that fuel order and you're fueling that aircraft, we have to be on focus. We have to make sure, you know, the pilot communicates, the FBO communicates, and the aircraft communicates with good placards on the wing of that aircraft. Every aircraft should say what kind of fuel is on that placard. And we have to check it. We created coins that say it takes 3. It takes the pilot, the FBO, and the aircraft all working together to make sure. And then we can prevent misfuelings.
So hold that up there. I don't know if we can get camera 2 to run in on that and see it. But they've got these coins. I don't know if they're zooming in on that. But it's just a reminder. And oh gosh,
it's a challenge. You know, we've been doing challenge coins ever since we started this, and we do different ones every year. And we challenge the pilots to change the philosophy, to start communicating. We go to AirVenture, we go to Sun and Fun. We're here every year talking to pilots. The rest of the year we're talking to FBOs, but we have to do better.
So let's try to get another shot at it. Hold it real still. Hold it real still. And let's see if they can zoom in on that. So that's a challenge.
Yeah.
Hold it right there. There you go. Takes 3. Verify fuel type. And it is the pilot, the FBO, and the aircraft. The aircraft should be placarded. That doesn't mean they're gonna do that. I mean, and you know, these days there's a lot of planes that use both. I mean, they start out as piston planes and they get converted to turbine planes.
A lot of Piper Malibus get converted. You know, we have the Diamond diesels coming out. And, you know, if you put avgas in a Diamond diesel aircraft, diesel compression that takes jet fuel, it's going to crash. Delta Hawk. You know, one thing on these coins, we've actually got FBOs that are actually taking this coin and they're giving them away at FBOs to try to bring awareness to it. What we're trying to do is challenge the industry to be safer.
And you've also got a new sticker. It's a heart-shaped sticker.
Yeah, back after, you know, we created it back in 2020, and we have a heart-shaped sticker that says, verify fuel type. save a life.
There you go.
Yep.
There it is.
It used to say save a life, verify fuel, but we flipped it this year, and now we have the verify fuel thing. And what we're trying to do is bring awareness on the trucks and the equipment to make sure that every time somebody gets it, they're thinking about the safety.
Yeah, and just, it's so easy to prevent, but yet it doesn't seem to be happening. Excuse me. So, you know, and on the pilot side, a good fuel order, you know, not top it off.
Yep.
I would like it filled up with 100 low lead.
Yeah, I would actually say 100 low lead first,
Right.
because people only listen to 2 or 3 words. So say the product, 100 low lead. You know, we created the acronym VFT. You know, and I tell people, hey, you know what VFR and IFR is because somebody taught you. We're going to teach you about VFT, Verify Fuel Type. And we're going to try to get you to stop saying TIO, top it off.
And I think a good habit that I got into, because I travel all over and fill at all kinds of different places, and do I trust all these people? No. Some of these people I've never been into and may never go into again, but I always check my ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, I always check my ticket because the ticket's going to have what they sold you.
Yeah. And it's also, you know, not only the fuel type, but check the quantity to make sure the quantity was communicated, to make sure that you have the right amount of fuel that you needed. You know, so it's one of those things that if we all work together, I've said it 2 or 3 times now, but that's the key, working together, pilot, FBO, and the aircraft. That sticker, that placard on that wing should be very good. And everybody should be able to walk up and see it. And we have to check it every time.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, just even go above and beyond you. I mean, I always dip my fuel when I get fuel.
Yeah. Keep in mind, you know, it's best to be there and watch them fuel it. Look at that truck and make sure. You know, on the Phillips 66 trucks, we have a black stripe down the side for jet fuel and our blue stripe down for avgas. But look at that truck, there's a placard on it, make sure. But if you put jet fuel into a piston airplane and then you sump it, the fuel's gonna mix. It's petroleum, it's gonna be a shade of blue, but you're not gonna notice the difference. It's gonna smell different, but you cannot just look at the fuel and say it's blue and it's okay. And now we have unleaded products coming out that is a whole nother game because it's different colors, you know, and different products. And some of these new unleaded products are not compatible with each other. So those are other questions that the industry's changing over time. We don't have a history with them, you know. So over the next 4 to 5 years, as this stuff changes, the risk of misfueling is going to even be higher.
Yeah, I know I had an incident once that I didn't get the wrong fuel, but I was in Chicago, Illinois. I was at DuPage out west of town, and it had rained, and I was there like 3 days, and I had them fuel while I was doing my meetings. And I came back out, and it wasn't raining the day I left. It was later in the afternoon. I wanted to get the hell out of there because I was going to fly all the way to Florida. And I went to the wing to look at the fuel, and my gas cap was ajar. It had rained for 2 days.
Yep.
I started dipping fuel, and I pulled
Water and water.
water and water and water and water. And if I had not done that, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah, you should always take and do the pre-check. Do your check things. Even if you've done it 1,000 times and it's always been perfect, we have to be perfect every time. We don't get second chances. We can't go back in time, you know, like in the movie Back to the Future. We have to do it right every time.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the nature of our business, right?
Yeah, we got gravity. I mean, the thing is, you got just enough good fuel. And
we
one
got
thing
gravity.
about, you know,
Yeah.
if you come down to the Phillips 66 tent, you'll see the flux capacitor up there. And they're like, why do you have the back to the fuel flux capacitor? I said, it doesn't work. You can't go back in time, but we have to do it right the first time. I also have a tow truck from Tow Mater, and they're like, why do you have that? And I said, because there's no tow trucks in the sky. So we have to fly the airplane. But always remember, if something does go wrong, do what Bob Hoover said, fly it as deep into the crash. Be careful trying to make the impossible turn because it's not going to make it.
So Keith, this is such a great message. So let's just review here. So it takes 3 right? It takes three: the pilot,
Yep.
the FBO,
Yep.
and the aircraft.
Yep.
Should all be on the same page.
And the pilot and the FBO can talk. The aircraft does sign language with the placards. So they all communicate. And that's what the key is, communication and verification.
So one of the other things you talk about is bond it, verify it. And so, and I didn't understand your terminology of bonded. I always thought they grounded the plane before they put the fuel in. But you tell me that it's not a true a ground, it's a bond to the truck.
We're actually bonding it from the aircraft to the truck to make sure we equalize the electrical stuff. And when we bond it, you're right there at the front of the aircraft. We say, bond it, take a few steps over, look at that placard, look at that truck, make sure they match. Don't just go off a receipt and say, well, they said they want jet fuel, because that could be wrong. We want to look at the placard, we want to look at the truck, and we want to make sure everything matches. And if there's any kind of questions, we stop and we get additional guidance.
So, you know, I think that's great FBO training. Bond it, verify it. You know, you're right. They're both right there.
Yeah.
Slow down. Slow down.
Take those steps. You know, a lot of people say, well, I check it when I grab the nozzle. Once you grab that nozzle and walk up there, you got too many other things going on. You just make a triangle. You walk out to the thing, you bond it, take a few steps over to the right or left, look at that wing placard, look at the truck, and then come back. It's 4 or 5 steps. So there's something new we thought of and said, hey, we're going to sell it. One pilot or FBO said, I got to retrain everybody. And I looked at him and said, maybe they need to be retrained. And we're going to do it, bond it, and verify it.
And we're not talking like days of training here. I mean,
no, it's just breaking bad habits. And most of the things I see are bad habits. They're not even looking. A lot of the misfuelings, they had placards on it, but they missed it. They didn't look because they were overconfident. Take the time, do it right.
And the next one, TIO, top it off. Bad. That's bad communication.
Yeah, we want VFT, verify the fuel. We want people to stop saying, now you can say 100 low lead, Jet A with fizzy, and then top it off, but communicate first. And that's what we're out there talking to pilots. And we give away the Bob Says t-shirts. There's a catch when I give them a shirt. I said, here's the deal. I wash all those shirts before I get here because I know people need clean clothes. And I said, if I give you a shirt, you have to wear it at Sun and Fun. You have to tell the story. I give them extra coins. So I'm trying to put together an army to bring awareness and safety.
Well, and that's great. So TIO, top it off, not a fuel over. And verify it, communicate, fuel order. So I think we've covered that. We've got just a couple minutes left.
One other thing, real quick, if you are a jet pilot and you're using jet fuel and you use jet with FSII, fuel system icing inhibitor, a lot of airports have injectors, and an injector injects the fizzy as it goes onto your aircraft. You need to make sure that you ask them what their procedures are. We've seen in the industry where diesel exhaust fluid was accidentally put in the injector. Diesel exhaust fluid and FSI look identical, and it can happen. So we have to make sure we verify that they have procedures. We don't even like to see DEF in 55-gallon drums because anything that touches DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, that goes into the exhaust, not the fuel system, contaminated. And it'll crystallize on the filter, it'll clog up that filter, and we've seen multiple airplanes have to make emergency landings. 2 in Florida, 1 in Savannah, Georgia, multiple ones out of Omaha. We've seen it in Las Vegas, and we actually found out in 2013 it happened in Brazil, but nobody talked about it. We have to talk about mistakes so we can prevent a tragedy, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, I think that's great. I wish you could bring our avgas prices down.
Yeah, I'm a QC guy. I just want to make sure it's clean and bright and it's the right product for that fuel. And, you know, and I want every pilot to do that. And, you know, I work for Phillips 66. We give away these stickers. If your airport doesn't have the Save a Life stickers, all you have to do is go to preventmisfueling.com or somewhere, trustedfuel.com, and we'll send them out at no charge. And these are commercially made stickers. But we feel like safety is the #1, and we have to do it safe every time.
Well, Keith, thanks for coming on. It's such a great message. Our time is just about up. I do want to tell everybody that Sun and Fun this year is fabulous. Thunderbirds are going to be performing. We've got a great weather forecast all week long. And so please come and check out the show, see our other videos. We've got all kinds of great safety information on our website. So I am Joel Hargis with the Florida Aviation Network here at the 52nd Sun and Fun in Lakeland, Florida. Come back and see us.